Council, welcome to the rescheduled regular meeting. We have an agenda before this morning, but first I'd like to call this meeting to order at 9:06. Rona, would you like to say our prayer today?
Greet everyone. Good morning. Say a simple prayer that should answer everyone's request. Dear Lord, continue during this meeting. And I hope that we make decisions and everything that we do for our people. God bless the mourners, the sick people, the children, the veterans. In Jesus' name, pray. Amen.
Thank you, Rona. We have an agenda before us this morning, Council. Are there any additions to the agenda? Last week we had a little email traffic and there was a question about powwow. So under TC items for discussion, I'd like to add powwow committee under number 2. And number 3, I'd like to add cultural presentation. Are there any other additions to the agenda? Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
We got a motion by Louis. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Thelma. Discussion. Objection to the motion. Motion carried 7-0-0. Okay, we have the reading of the minutes. Our first set of minutes are the 2/25/21 minutes for the regular meeting. Is there a motion to approve those minutes? Is there a motion to approve the February 25th, we got a motion by Rona. Do we have a second?
Second.
We got a second by Louis. Discussion. Any objection to the motion? Motion carried 7-0-0. Second set of minutes are the February 26th Treasurers Report meeting. Is there a motion to approve those minutes? Do we have a motion for the Treasurers Report minutes? Okay. Third, okay, we have a motion by Rona. Luli, would you like to second that?
I'll second it.
Okay. Discussion. Objection to the motion. 7-0-0, motion carried. Third set of minutes are the 2/26/21 General Council meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve the General Council meeting minutes? Do we have a motion?
To approve.
We have a motion by Brian. Do we have a second?
Second.
Colleen? We have a second from Brian, or excuse me, Coley, for the General Council minutes. Discussion. Objection to the motion. Motion carried 7-0-0. We have a list of 5 signatures to ratify. Just for the membership's awareness, usually when we have an abundance of 5 signatures, that was because we had a postponed meeting. So the first one is approve IHS East Water Booster Station Low Bidder Olson Plumbing. Is there a motion to ratify?
No motion to ratify. Second.
We have a, who did the motion? Was that Brian and Coley second? Okay. Brian motion, Coley second. Discussion. Objection to the motion. 7-0-0. The second one is adopt resolution 21-66, tribal enrollment applicant Milton LaRose. Is there a motion to ratify that 5 signature?
So moved.
We have a motion by Rona. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Brian. Discussion. Objection to the motion. Motion carried 700. Number 3, adopt resolution 21-67, Federal Transit Administration designated officials. Is there a motion to ratify? Is there a motion to ratify resolution 21-67?
So moved.
Motion by Rona. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Thelma. Discussion. Objection. Motion carried. Number 4, approve the AIHRC organizational chart 2021 revision. Is there a motion to approve? Excuse me, to ratify?
To ratify.
Motion by Coley. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Louis. Discussion. Objection to the motion. Motion carried 700. Number 5, approve to update the Winnebago Heating Cooling Assistant Guideline. Motion to ratify.
So moved.
Motion by Rona. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Thelma. Discussion. Objection to the motion. Motion carried 700. Number 6, approve administrative leave for employees attending Grove High School state basketball games. Is there a motion to ratify?
Motion to ratify.
We have a motion by Coley. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Rona. Discussion. Objection to the motion. Motion carried 700. Number 7, approve the purchase of jackets for the Winnebago High School girls basketball team and coaches. Is there a motion to ratify? We have a motion by Louis. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Rona. Discussion. Objection to the motion. Motion carried 700. Number 8, approve the Mark Bird request for reimbursement for tilling of drainage from trailers run off into his garden area. Is there a motion to ratify?
Not so much. Oops, hold on.
Is there a motion to ratify? Do we have a motion to ratify the Mark Bird reimbursement?
Motion.
We have a motion by Brian. Do we have a second? We have a second by Louis. Discussion. Objection to the motion. Motion carried 700. Number 1 under new business. Do we have fire department with us? Okay, doesn't sound like we have anybody from the fire department. Do we have anybody from law enforcement with us? Okay, I'm not seeing anybody from fire department or law enforcement. If they're available, we can perhaps hear from them tonight. We put them on this agenda because their meeting was postponed due to death. So just trying to hear from this department, and it's continuously been rescheduled. We put them on here, but so nothing under old business. Tribal council items. The first item is the 5 signature policy. I put this on the agenda because recently I got something in the mail, and it was regarding a court case, and this was a document that was submitted to the court. And I just wanted to put it back in front of the table for the council's awareness so that they saw it. I believe it was created in the 90s, and recently we've used it quite a bit. There've been quite a bit of deaths. So this was just for discussion only. I'm not looking for any action. I just wanted the council to know and see the background information on this policy, and if in the future there was any updates that we need to do this, but that was the reason that it's on the agenda. Lorelei.
Madam Chair, I also added the April 6, 2020 regular tribal council meeting minutes. There's a motion that was made, and it's John Snowball motion to waive the stipulation on 5 signature policy until the pandemic is done, and to use DocuSign by email, that all tribal council members view the DocuSign. So this 5 signature policy has been waived according to this motion.
Okay, Lorelei, thank you for that information. I think that's good that we have that in place, that we can use it if we need to use it. I just don't want the policy to be weaponized, and sometimes we find ourselves without a meeting and the authority to make a decision. So thank you so much for that update. Are there any other comments on this item? Okay, moving on. Thank you for the discussion. We have the second item is the powwow committee. We had some questions, and likely so, it's getting nice out. Powwow season is upon us, and there's question if we were going to have our celebration this year. I don't know if that question has been determined, but I do see around the country other tribes looking at having their celebration 4th of July, others throughout July. Based on President Biden's remarks last week, they anticipate by July that a vast majority of the country would be vaccinated. So I don't know if it's too soon to make a decision like that, but I do think we could put some contingent plans in place or talk about it. So I just lay this out on the table for discussion, and
Madam
if
Chair.
a willingness to appoint a committee or advertise for a committee. Brian.
I was just going to say that because of the decision for how or who's allowed to attend the powwow, meaning like non-tribal members, et cetera, can be made at any point in the future, even the week prior if necessary. But at the same time, the planning process that's necessary to actually get the powwow up and going, I think needs to begin. So my only comment was going to be that if you guys want to start advertising for the committee, I'm all for it.
Thank you, Brian. Is there any other comments, or is there a motion to advertise for a Thelma?
Yes, I agree that the committee needs to be in place and the planning started at least, so that in case that it is open, we'll be ready for it. So with that, I'd like to make a motion that we advertise for the powwow committee.
We have a motion by Thelma. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Brian. Thelma, would that be for 30 days, or do you want it up until filled, or?
I think 30 days would be good.
Okay. Is there discussion? Lorelei.
Should that be included in the motion that they're going to work with as they're planning, but down the road here, we'll get a recommend if we're going to lift the pandemic, whatever it is, by the time it gets close to powwow, so that our visitors are welcome if that's where we are with the vaccines and infection rate.
Yeah, I think this is just to get a committee together. I think all plans are certainly contingent upon the pandemic and of course the health department's inclusion on what that would look like. I don't know.
Is that going to be added in there somehow?
Thelma, are you comfortable making that motion contingent on a celebration occurring or something like that?
I think down the road in 30, I mean, I think we can wait on it depending on how things turn out. We can always add that on there. Right now, I just want to have the committee together.
Okay. Lorelai, we can make a follow-up motion if you want to capture something else. So right now we have a motion to advertise a powwow committee for 30 days. We have a second. Is there any further discussion? Rona?
It's such a late time in the year. If we can get, I think whoever we can get to apply, should we have them start planning or working with, whoever's on the list? 3 or more, 4 or more? Do you know what I mean? As
Yeah,
they
I think
apply?
the last structure, I think, had 8 members. So thank you for that feedback. Thelma, you sticking with your 30 days?
Let me see, what is it? March. Oh, it's gonna be kind of close. I
You wanna
think
do 2?
maybe if we can get it sooner
You wanna do 2
than
weeks?
30. Yeah, we'll
I'd
try
say
2
we
weeks.
have 5 people.
Okay. Brian, are you okay with 2 weeks?
Yeah, whatever works.
Okay.
Lori.
So we have a
Whatever-
motion to advertise a powwow committee for 2 weeks. We have a second by Brian. Any further discussion? Any objection? Oh, Coley.
How many positions are we advertising for?
The last announcement was 8. So if we do it the same, it was 8.
8, okay.
Any objection to the motion? With no objection, motion carried 7-0-0. The second item that I added was for a cultural presentation. I had been visiting with Mr. Boylad last week, and one of the things that we were talking about, well, actually, I was just checking on him and hadn't spoken to him probably since last summer, and just thinking of some of our elders and some of our traditional knowledge holders. And I found out that he was going to be traveling to take care of a memorial later this month. And I was wondering if the council would be open to Mr. Boylad doing a cultural presentation, perhaps for some of our veterans and some of our Renaissance, and some of our elders are willing to share knowledge. And I just really thought that some of the precious knowledge of our elders could be lost in the pandemic. And if this person was willing to come through and share something with us, I was wanting to know if the council would be open to that. And we could Zoom it. We could have a small socially distanced audience for our veterans or our Renaissance program, and then Zoom the rest of it, record it, share it with our museum. So those are some of the thoughts I had. I had shared similar thoughts with Garen a couple weeks ago because I wanted to also get some of Louis' stories. And 2 years ago, and I think last year, Garen, through the last Bear Moon, had done a little recording and had done some capturing some traditional knowledge. So I don't know if it would be something similar to that, but that's what's been on my mind. And I was wondering if, and I have something to present, a write-up, but I didn't print it, I didn't email it to the council. But what I'm asking for is for travel and an honorarium for Mr. Boyd Ladd to do a cultural presentation, is what I'm asking the council for.
Motion to authorize the chair to take all actions necessary for the request.
We have a motion by Brian. Do we have a second? We have a motion to authorize the chair to facilitate a cultural presentation for Mr. Boylad. Do we have a second? We have a second from Rona. Discussion. The dates, the potential date would be perhaps March 30th. It's a Tuesday, and Rona, Lorelai.
Who's paying for the honorary and where's that coming out of?
It would come from the general fund out of the tribal council.
And how much would that be?
Well, the council wants to determine an amount, but I wouldn't think anything in excess of $500.
And secondly, is this gonna be virtual or?
Yes, so I was mentioning that I would want to stream it to the community. We could record it and have it up at our museum. But I would like for at least the veterans to participate in person at the minimum. So a small socially distanced audience, but vastly shared through live stream. Rona.
I'm not sure if we're still doing the other support on March 30th or not.
What else was happening on March 30th?
Was that the horse thing?
I'm not sure. I'll circle back with that, but we could even record this in the afternoon and air it in the evening. Put it on the LED screen, so we can work those logistics out.
Okay.
So we have a motion with a second. Any further comments, discussion, or questions? Any objection to the motion? Without objection, motion passed 7-0-0. Council, that brings us to the end of our agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We have a motion by Brian. Do we have a second? We have a second by Rona. Discussion. Objection. We are adjourned at 9:29, 7-0-0. Council, as you know, we have a mid-month meeting tonight, so if you have any added agenda items or need things emailed or scanned, please get those to Teresa, and I will see you this evening. Have a good day.